We've got some really exciting translations of cards revealed, so we're just going to get right into it. These are going to be from the Raging Surf set in Japan and expected to be part of the English Paradox Rift set. Now, Paradox Rift has been revealed to feature the Iron Valiant, the Paradox versions of Gallade and Gardevoir, but we haven't seen exactly what they're going to be represented like in the card game, and so I'm expecting that we will see reveals regarding those at the World Championships this weekend. We're starting off with a Terra type water version of Garchomp EX. This puppy's got 320 HP. The art is absolutely beautiful for a regular art EX Pokemon by 5-Band Graphics. This is some of 5-Band's best work, probably. Um, and so we've got an attack doing 160 damage for 1 fighting, and attach up to 3 fighting energy from your discard to your bench Pokemon any way you like. Absolutely crazy powerful attack, so much value there. So you're two-shotting everything in the game for 1 fighting energy, and you're accelerating energy to your benched Pokemon. This screams using Cheryl. Like, just attack, use Cheryl, attach again, attack, take a hit, use Cheryl. Sounds perfect. And then the second attack, Sonic Dive, discard 2 energy from this Pokemon and do 120 to one of your opponent's Pokemon. I think this card's super hype. I definitely expect it to be a competitively viable card at some point in its standard format life cycle, and it also looks beautiful. Also note that it has the Terra, as long as this Pokemon's on your bench, prevent all damage done to it, and that is not an ability, so it can't be shut off by things like Path to the Peak. Overall, the card design lately has been to the point where I'm excited about every new card reveal that happens, and I'm like, in the past I was more like skeptic and like critically analyzing how they were designing the cards. Now I'm just excited to see what comes next. We've got a new Frostlass EX, which is Terra type shifted to Grass. It has 250 HP. It's a Stage 1 Pokemon. It has the ability just out of reach. When this Pokemon's in the active and is knocked out, flip a coin. If heads, your opponent takes 1 less prize card. That's really cool. And Frost Bullet does 140 and 20 damage to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. So keeping that damage spread to the bench kind of strategy that Frostlass has had in the past, especially back in its Diamond and Pearl printings. Then we have a Groudon, just a regular old Groudon. Attach a basic fighting from hand to a Pokemon, and Magma Purge does 60x. You can discard up to 4 energy from your Pokemon. This does 60 damage for each card discarded in this way. I don't think that one's anything special. Next, we have 2 Technical Machine cards, or TM cards. This one's called Energy Turbo. While this is attached to one of your Pokemon, that Pokemon may use this card's attack, and it gets discarded at the end of your turn, so it can only be attached for 1 turn. This grants your Pokemon the attack Energy Turbo for 1 colorless, search your deck for up to 2 basic energy cards, and attach them to your benched Pokemon in any way you like. This is a very strong tool card. It could probably be used at multiple points in the game. Going to be very popular to try to use at the beginning of the game, but I could also see it being used later on a chunky Pokemon in the active that doesn't have its own way to accelerate energy. You just use this Energy Turbo and set up some Pokemon. Technical Machine Sneak Attack is a little less good, or a little less impressive. It gives the Pokemon a 3 colorless energy attack called Sneak Attack. This attack does 100 damage to one of your opponent's Pokemon that already has any damage counters on it. I feel like we have so many options already for sniping attacks that do around 100 damage, maybe a little less, a little more in the format, for various energy costs and typings and type of Pokemon, that I'm not sure this really is exciting or serves a purpose really, but Energy Turbo I think could definitely serve a purpose. Next, we have 2 supporters. Rika, look at top 4 cards of your deck, put 2 into the hand and 2 at the bottom of your deck. This is just a weaker Colress's Experiment, and I really wouldn't expect it to see play until Colress's Experiment rotates, but it's a fine supporter card. And then we have Larry, flip a coin. If heads, search your deck for up to 2 Pokemon and put them in your hand. If tails, search your deck for a basic Pokemon and put it into your hand. This is a supporter. I'm not a fan of that coin flip effect because The difference between heads and tails is really big, but at least you get something when flipping tails. So who knows? This could be a playable supporter. I'd keep my expectations on the lower side though for Larry. Next, we have Bombardier EX, a basic 200 HP colorless EX Pokemon, and it has the attack Fast Carry. For 1 colorless energy, if you go first, you can use this attack on your first turn. Search your deck for up to 3 basic Pokemon and put them on your bench. And if you want second, you could still use it second as well. But going first, using that attack, you got a chunky 200 HP Pokemon in the active using it. It's almost like using a call energy back in the day. I think this is fantastic, and I hope this ends up being as good as I think it is. And then it also has Shadow Wind, 130, shuffle this Pokemon, all cards attached to it into your deck. This is exciting design. I really like it. Mantike, 30 HP Pokemon with a free attack, fluffy healing, heal 120 from one of your bench Pokemon. This little guy only has 30 HP, so it will be a liability against Lost Zone shenanigan decks, but it also has free retreat, which is something to note. Eviltal has the crosscut attack that does 30 plus 60 more if the defending Pokemon is an evolution Pokemon. I'm not too impressed by that. But the most important card on this page is Gorgeous Mantle, which is like a spiritual reprint of Expert Belt from Diamond and Pearl Arceus, I believe. Expert Belt is a card that I theorized a lot over the pandemic. How would we need to reprint Expert Belt to actually make it impactful and kind of fix single prize Pokemon compared to rule box Pokemon? And we're gonna have to see if they got it right with Gorgeous Mantle. So if the Pokemon this card is attached to does not have a rule box on it, it gets plus 100 HP, and when it's knocked out, your opponent takes 1 more prize card. Very similar to how Expert Belt worked back in the day, except Expert Belt was plus 20 HP, and the attacks also do plus 20 damage. Something that I've probably talked about in videos way in the past is that if we were to reprint Expert Belt, the damage that we're doing matters a lot less than the HP that we're giving, because it's more about these Pokemon need to survive longer, because we're putting, 1, 2, 3 energies and 1, 2, or 3 turns into setting up these stage 1 and stage 2 Pokemon that have like half the HP of EX and VMAX Pokemon. So buffing that HP way up could help make more cards competitive in the game. So this could open up a whole new pool of cards that, hey, if we slap an extra 100 HP on them, things change a little bit. So hopefully that is what happens here with the Gorgeous Mantle tool card. I'm very excited for it because, like I said, a reprint of Expert Belt is something that I've been thinking about for quite a while. And lastly, we have a new Mewtwo EX Terra-typed Lightning. It has the Charge attack for Psychic Energy. You can attach up to 2 basic Psychics from your discard to your Pokemon in any way you like. And then Photon Kinesis, 10 plus damage, does 30 more for each Psychic attached to all of your Pokemon. I feel like this could be really good with Shadow Rider Calyrex VMAX. Maybe it could also be okay with Gardevoir, as you have a Pokemon with Fighting type weakness as opposed to Metal and Dark weakness. So it's also hitting for Lightning type if that ever helps as well. Then we have the Skeleturge EX. It is Metal type, Terra type shifted, 330 HP. The card looks phenomenal. It's weak to fire, which is funny. And don't forget, we have a fire type Skeleturge EX, so you can play both of these in the same deck. And it has the ability Explosive Song. Once a turn, you may discard a fire energy from your hand. And then during this turn, all of your Pokemon's attacks do 60 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon. And it has the Raster Burn that does 160. If you use the Explosive Song, that's already doing 220. But this is making all of your Pokemon do 60 more damage to the active. It doesn't matter what type they are, what evolution stage they are. As long as it's doing damage to the active Pokemon, it's buffed by 60, and you do have to discard a fire energy specifically, so this will probably be played alongside a fire type Pokemon, maybe even the original Skeleturge EX, which is a fire type Pokemon, and did see some play at Champions League events in Japan. Had some potential, it just wasn't quite there. So maybe this new Skeleturge could help push the old Skeleturge EX into competitive viability. Something that Poke Beach noted was that back in the Delta species era, Mewtwo was type shifted to lightning and fire and also metal. And they're saying, look, Mewtwo is lightning and Skeleturge is fire and metal. So it's a little bit of an homage potentially to that. So those are all the new translations we've gotten over the past couple days. Really excited for Garchomp EX. I also like the Energy Turbo TM. I like Bombardier EX, Gorgeous Mantle, and both the Terra-type Mewtwo and Terra-type Skeleturge seem playable. So a lot of cool cards in just a small collection of reveals recently. If you enjoyed this video, be sure to subscribe here. This is my second channel, and you can also follow my main channel if you don't already, Celio's Network. You can find ways to support the channel if you wish in the description and all of that stuff. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.